On a Tuesday, got your girl in the cottage sheet Tuesday, club going up. On a Tuesday, got your girl in the
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is KJ Live. You're tuned in to Chris Johnson Live on IG. Today we have a very special show planned for you. A very special guest will be in the building. Emmy Award-winning broadcaster Marques Johnson. Now let's tell you a little bit something about Marques Johnson. First of all, he's my dad. Second of all, some of his accomplishments include the first John R. Wooden Award winner. In 2013, he was inducted into the College Basketball Hall of Fame. In 2019, he was inducted into the California Sports Hall of Fame as well. He's a very accomplished broadcaster. He's won several Emmys over the last several years. He's also just one of the coolest dudes I know. So let me try to bring him in, see if he can join us for a nice conversation. You know my guy. Try to get him in here. I see he jumped in the chat. Old school, you with us? Just give us a second. This is Chris Johnson Live. I am Chris Johnson. Today we have Old School 88, 888 in the building. For y'all don't know, that's Marques Johnson. Let me try to put you in here, MJ. Must upgrade app in order to join. Okay, so MJ has to apparently update his app in order to join. Let's see how that's gonna work. Yeah, it won't let him. Just give us a second. We got a little bit of a technical difficulty going on, but we will be with you shortly. Get my dad on the phone. No, it's you got. It says you got to update your app. You got to update your app. So have you updated the app? Is there an update available? You have to update your app. Update the Instagram app. Is anybody there? The Instagram. Yeah. It says you need to update your app. This is Chris Johnson Live. I'm Chris Johnson. We're on KJ Live with Marques Johnson, having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we will get with you shortly. If you guys can just bear with us. MJ is updating his app on his iPhone.
Okay, App Store.
Yep.
Okay, hold on a second.
Kalila Johnson in the building. Hey, Leela. Nice of you to join. So taking it from the top, really excited to have Marques on. We're going to talk about a number of different things. We're going to talk about NBA. We're going to talk about his roles in some of basketball's most classic movies of all time. Talk about Raymond from White Men Can't Jump, the character inspiration about that. We're also going to talk about his thoughts on today's players. You know, we see a lot of stuff going on in the news, you know, from guys like Shaq and others, kind of giving this this generation of today's players a hard time. We're going to get MJ's take on them, analytics, and all sorts of stuff. He's updating his Instagram app. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know how that goes. Just because, you know, we're going to be good. So this is KJ Live. We're going to give us a few minutes. I'm going to play some more music for you guys. Let's just, you know, it's on a Tuesday, so we gotta go up a little bit. We gotta go up. MJ, how you looking? Okay, so just give us a second. Bear with us. MJ is updating his app. Actually, he's in the building. Yes, sir. What's happening, brother?
Hey man, what's happening?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Just trying to get into this technology, that
You
you.
got you got it figured out, man.
Oh man, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was giving me the heads up, like, yo, old school's got to update his app, man. He can't
All
join.
right. All right.
No, we good, man. But I'm glad you're here, man. And thank you for joining KJ Live. This show, it was kind of birthed out of just me having inspirations I draw upon from people like yourself, Josiah, just to use our talent to create, man, and do what we can and really just, get our message out there, whatever that may be. So, man, I appreciate all the inspiration. I want to start off the show, man, but everybody, it's been hitting me up. Like when they saw it on the internet the other day, it went viral. So on your 65th birthday, you did something you've been doing for the last 10 years or so, which is dunking each year, on your birthday. So talk a little bit about this dunk, man, and how do you still have the legs? How are you able to do it? Because I'll be honest, I can barely tap, bro. I
Tap
can't even
tap what?
tap the backboard. I can't barely tap the backboard, bro. Like if I tried to jump and you out here one hand dunking, fitting to your old All-Star jersey, looking sweet. Talk a bit about it, MJ.
Well, Chris, for me, it started probably 10 years ago. Me and Joe. It actually predated that. Larry Farmer, who wore number 54 at UCLA right before I got there. He used to always talk about, this is years ago, when he was about 48, 49. He's about 4 years older than me. But he would talk about how he could still dunk at about 48, 49. He was trying to dunk until he was 50. And so I said, well, that's a good idea. Let me try that. And I could dunk really easily all through my 40s on a set of blue chips and other situations I was in. I could dunk coaching the Belizean national team back
Sure.
10 years ago in 2010. Dunk back then to the surprise of a lot of the guys I was coaching. And Josiah decided to start videotaping it about 10 years ago after Blake Griffin jumped over the Kia. And so we bought out a couple of Matchbox cars,
Yes.
Hot Wheels, and just so I'm gonna jump over a car. So we had fun with it. We got off the first dunk in the renovated Poly Pavilion. I kind of snuck in as a workman with a hard hat and a bologna sandwich and all that. And we've just had fun with it over the years. And Joe is the one that kind of keeps me motivated. He's like, "You got 1 million? You got one? You got 1 million, you dad? You got 1 million, you dad?" Joe, I don't know. I'm
Come
60.
on, Joe.
64, man. I don't know. I'm gonna be 65. So anyway, this year we set it up and right at my birthday and turning 65. And I kind of looked at it like 65 is the official retirement age. Last year I jumped over the two tacos in honor of Aaron Gordon jumping over, top ball in the All-Star game. So no All-Star game this year. And last year paying homage to Kobe Bryant, number 8.
Absolutely.
I mean, so that was special for me to be able to do that with him in mind. And so this year didn't really have a theme going in, but with COVID and everything, we wanted to implement the COVID protocols. And I found this. I was trying to figure out what jersey to wear, and I found the old 1986 All-Star jersey, the last one that I wore.
Dallas. Yeah,
But
you took me there. That's where I met Michael Jordan first
But
time.
at the dunk contest, right? I mean, that's just one of the most exciting, memorable All-Star games ever because it was my last one. But Spud and you were there and all that. So anyway, so I said, let me see what this feels like. So I shoehorned myself into that bad boy. It was cool, and went out in the back and got it done, man. And when I first did the first couple of them, it was like I was like you. I could barely get up, and cause I don't dunk. I'm not this dude that's out there trying to fight off father time. Father time is undefeated. I understand. I'm older. I'm 60. I got hip issues. You know me, back issues since when I played. But I've been keeping myself in good shape. I mean, so this gives me the motivation to continue to stay in great shape. Just looking forward to this every year. I don't dunk at all during the course of the year, so I don't know what. I have no. It's a surprise to me too.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Wait.
People have tried to get me to dunk. I did an interview for AARP magazine that's coming out real soon. They wanted me to dunk. I was like, I don't dunk. I told you I don't dunk. This is back in September. I don't dunk except in February around my birthday. So when I got out there, I was a little heavy-legged and barely getting up and just struggling. And I was about to call Joe and tell him, man, I don't know, man, this may be it. But I stretched out, got some of my little calisthenics on. You saw a little bit of it with the Michael Jackson Thriller move. But I did a little bit of my my warm ups.
Mm-hmm.
It got easier and easier, and I could So I got up there pretty easy toward the end. And so a lot of people are like, well, is that basket 10 feet? Look, you know how we do it. We eyeball it. It's like, okay, it's about 10 feet.
It's about 10 feet.
I'm an err on the short side, but it's like that. But it's like that gym at Crenshaw High School.
Yeah, that rim. The
two.
second rim. The first rim is high.
One rim is 10-1. The other rim is 9, 10 and a half.
No question.
So I just, I'm dunking on the 9, 10 and a half, 9, 11 rim. Is kind of how
Man, still, Dad, still.
Man, come on. I'm 65, bro. Come on.
It's impressive. It's impressive that you're able to do it so consistently. The thing that makes it more impressive is the fact that you don't even practice it, that you just show up in February every year and you knock out a dunk. Let me ask you this. You said something in your video, Stem the Tide. Talk about what that means. Like, what did that refer to? Because I was confused at first.
Well, that's let me do my product placement here. That's Stemmergen. This is the product that I've been dealing with for the past few months.
Okay.
My boy Nigel Miguel turned me on to it and told me to tell you, Nigel, yo, check this out. I got some. Check this out. So I've been dealing with it the past few months, and it's a stem cell regeneration mixture of herbs, natural stuff, all natural. Sea buckthorn. I wrote this aloe, ginseng, beta glucans, piper nigrum, which is black pepper.
Yum.
Yeah, but just a bunch of good, like my mom, my grandmommy would do it. Just you got to take but just a bunch of good herbs that are supposed to help regenerate the stem cells, but also, and what that does for me, Chris, in terms of just tangibly, I can work out and recover faster. My mind is sharp. I'm coming up with all funny crap on TV now that, my mind is sharp right now. And
that's amazing.
Kind of connecting the dots a lot quicker. And it's just a really good product for me that I can swear by because of how it makes me feel both physically and mentally. And that's the thing with the dunk. Let me just say this part too, is that I was headed down a path, I've been sober almost 19 years now. And I was headed down a path in terms of drinking and the drugs and everything else I was doing, which was not a productive life. I like to say I'm living, two lifestyles in one lifetime. To give you a quick story, when I was working with the Sonics, this is before I got sober in the mid 90s, Terry Stotts was an assistant coach of George Karl, and we played one-on-one all the time after practice. I could never beat Terry because I was just in bad shape. I was smoking 2 packs a day. I was drinking a fifth of vodka a day.
Sheesh.
There, but the guys were cool. Deadlift Shrimp and all of them. They would invite me into the weight room. Come on, old school, you got to work out, man. But I got in pretty decent shape. But I was just living a lifestyle that wasn't conducive to any kind of longevity, and I just had a kind of just some clarity kind of struck me in April of 2002. It was a tough year. Your Aunt Sharon died in January. My wife Leanne, her mom, died in February. My father, your grandfather, Paul died in March, and I got sober in April. So it took a piece of tragedies and all that to finally get me to feel like, okay, look, what you gonna do? Like Jim Brown, Richard Pryor routine. What you gonna do? You gonna live, or you gonna not gonna live? You gonna live a productive life, or you can continue going down this path you're going down and be one of those tragic, whatever happened. Oh my God.
Yeah.
His parents were so good. Oh, he was in the, and I didn't want to be that dude, man. I didn't want to.
Yeah, no, I respect you saying that. Here's the thing about it all. The way I grew up and with you, it was a certain way. You was on that shit. You was always, not really that guy that I knew you to be later on in life. But what happened that really just changed my life too, and how I approached everything, is when Paul died. When my grandfather passed away, I remember I was playing in Qatar, and you called me, and we had this hellified conversation, filled with tears. And you told me that you were about to change your life. You told me you was about to give this bullshit stuff up, and you're about to go sober. And I was just, having been, through you with college and my whole life, like, sober, this dude? Yeah, right. Like, I was like, yeah, okay. But here's the fact that since that day, you have stayed sober. It's been how many years? 21 years?
No, I've been 19, coming up on 19.
Excuse me, 19 years. I think that's something that, we got to shout out and give you some flowers for. 19 years of sobriety. I'm very proud of you, honestly, because I've seen a whole new side of you. I mean, every day you make us proud. You make me proud. Just in the light in your eyes, the light in your skin. I mean, just how you be looking on TV,
Right.
the hairline. I mean, you just like the gear, the suit. I mean, you just look so fly, bro.
Yeah.
I just be like, and you were going down a path where you was gonna be fat, out of shape, losing teeth.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that, Dad. I remember your teeth and shit was all fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
bruh, I remember. I'm like, damn, who is this dude over? He was like a real life Raymond, bro.
I see some older pictures, and it's just like, wow. But the irony is this, and you'll appreciate this, because I met my wife Leanne on a blind date with you.
Oh shit!
You were dating a friend of hers up in Seattle. That was the first time that we met, Leanne and I. And Leanne is Native American and could drink like the stereotypical
a Native American,
like they talk about.
Okay.
So I thought this was like the greatest gift that God could have sent. This beautiful. I'm 41, going through 25. You remember, and we had just this whirlwind romance relationship. Had a baby, Cyrus, who's now a senior at a sophomore, Richard sophomore at Sam Houston State. But anyway,
shout out Cyrus.
Bottom line is that, and she won't mind me telling this, Leanne, because she's proud of her sobriety too. So I got her hooked up with more than just drinking, started doing a bunch of other stuff, whatever. She got tired. And she just like, she gave me the ultimatum. She's like, look, man, either you're going to get your crap together or we can't hang together. And so my first initial reaction was, well, so long, Chief. It's time to. it's time.
Dude.
It was all about hostage taking and doing it till the wheels came off, and then finding somebody,
right.
Ruining one life and move on to another.
Right.
A real bad, counterproductive way of living. But something I went to support her when she went through treatment in Seattle, and I went to support her at a family day just to support her. She got sober March 19th. She'll be 19 March 19th. I'll be sober 19 years March.
That's awesome, man.
April 15th. So I went to support her where she was, and I heard this guy talking, Chris, this old white guy that looked like Wilford Brimley. This old white guy with the big bushy mustache and stocky with the suspenders and the plaid shirt. But he was talking about how he had gotten sober at 46 years old. He was in his 60s. He had been sober 23 years, and it was the best 23 years of his life. I was 40 at that moment. And when I heard him speak, I was just like, well, maybe there's a chance for me. And so long story short, I wound up going to a couple of meetings in Seattle and hooking up with some great people up in Seattle that were into the recovery program and recovery process. And here I am. Here we both are. Leanne and I both. And it used to piss me off because she'd always pull rank. We'd have an argument. She said, well, I've been sober 3 weeks longer than you have. Come on. I've been sober
dope.
longer than you have. You got to listen to me. Like,
that's dope. It's dope to be able to overcome something with someone that you love and tremendously care about. And now that you guys are both on the other side of it, I mean, it's truly amazing. You guys make a beautiful couple. And I'm really just happy that you found each other, to be honest with you, Dad. Because, who knows where you might have been without Leanne, honest to God, truth.
Yeah.
But man, so like, we got heavy for a minute. So let's kind of, segue. I appreciate it. They wasn't expecting that. See, you don't know what you go get on KJ Live, bro. We got an NBA All-Star in here talking about some stuff.
I guess I better edit myself. I feel like I'm just talking to you sitting up here.
Yeah. But hey, man, look, man, it's all in the name of love and transparency. Nothing to hide around here, bro. I mean, you talk about it all the time. If people really wanted to dig, they know what time it is.
Right. Yeah. Not
tripping. So ain't nobody tripping on that. But I want to segue into some sort of something a little lighter. A lot of people remember you, especially this generation. Remember you. They don't remember you as the NBA All-Stars, the first John R. Wooden Award winners, the guy that Michael Jordan had a poster on his college dorm room at North Carolina. They don't remember none of that. They remember you as the dude that said, I'm going to my car. I'm getting my other gun. Like shooting everybody's ass. Talk about Raymond from White Men Can't Jump, the inspiration behind the character, how you got that off, and because it's definitely one of the most famous parts in sports movie history, at least.
and got nominated for an ESPY, as a matter of fact.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, sure did. I went to the ESPY. That was the year that Jim Valvano had to be helped on stage by Coach K,
Oh,
and
wow.
I was sitting right in that front row and watching all that. I should have jumped up and gotten the shot and like helped him up too. But anyway, no, it's funny. I was working on a film for the American Film Institute, a guy by the name of Andrew Wagner, really good guy. But he Nigel Miguel, Louis Price, The Temptations, Silk Cozart.
Oh, the movie about the
About,
basketball movie?
about Raymond Lewis. It was based on the life of Raymond Lewis, greatest high school players and college players in history that never got his chance as an NBA player. That's a whole nother segue that we could get into. But when he came out to UCLA and played a whole summer with us. But the point is, we were working on this movie. The Last Days of Hope and Time was the name of the film. We were shooting up in Pasadena, up in the mountains every night for about 2 weeks. It was cold. We didn't have any trailers, eating cold cuts and hot dogs. It was just a Spartan shoot. It was a student film.
Absolutely.
We all bonded and had a great time. We were singing Tip. We had a great time. Anyway, Silk Cozart told me that he had a friend named Ron Shelton who had written this script called White Men Can't Jump. And he thought there was a part that I'd be perfect for. And so he hooked us up. Ron Shelton had me come in for an audition. And so when he sent me the sides or the partial screenplay, in the scene I was going to do with Wesley Snipes, I pull out a razor or pull out a blade. It just said a blade. And so, your grandfather was a master barber. So he had all these straight razors in his barber box. And I had seen a movie. I can't even think the name of it. It was a black exploitation film. But the one part of the movie, this dude came out and with a straight razor with one hand and snapped it out of his hand and then opened it up with one hand, all one smooth motion. So I practiced that move for about a week. I said, this gonna be my move. So I went in and did the scene with Wesley Snipes. Got time to pull out the blade on him. I reached in my pocket and pulled out that straight razor and did that sweet little snap open thing. Started chasing Wesley around the audition room. And the writer director Ron Shelton was like, "Okay, that's good, that's great. You got the part. But when we shoot the film, leave that damn straight razor at home. You're gonna kill somebody."
Hey, you sold it though.
From you. And so anyway, so that's how that came about. And I did the Wooden Awards right around that time, a little bit after. And I was speaking. Grant Hill was one of the nominees, and I forget the other people that were in the room at that time. But I asked a bunch of the ball players and high school players that were there at the banquet, did anybody have any idea? This is early '90s, of any idea of who I was as a basketball player? And they just looked at me with a blank stare. So then I said, does anybody remember me from the movie White Men Can't Jump in the liquor store? And they just stood up and applauded. At Hill's mom at the time. I see Miss Hill, see what it's come to. 5-time All-Star Player of the Year, and this is what it's come to. But it was, especially around those days, not even now, but back then, it was something that people associated me with, and we had a great time. And Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. Quick story: first time I'm playing against Woody Harrelson, Ron Shelton had gotten us all together to play, just to get to know each other, play some ball, just to hoop, get into that hooper mindset.
Yep.
So we're Woody Harrelson, a bunch of us are hooping, bunch of college guys, Dave, my teammate in the scene. And so Woody calls this bogus foul, kind of like you and Kobe back in the day at the men's gym. Woody calls a bogus foul. So I'm like, Woody, that's a bullshit call. And so Woody's like, how dare you impugn my integrity? How dare you impugn my integrity? I'm like, wait, hold on, man. First of all, I went to Crenshaw. I don't know what impugn means. But it was still a bullshit call. After busted up and helped us to kind of break the ice and start bonding together. But we had a fantastic time shooting that film. And
definitely,
yeah, just
no,
you
was
in the movie.
Well, I remember. That's what I was going to say. I remember my memories were hanging out. I was an extra in the film. If you go rewatch it, you'll see like a tall guy with a green New York Jets hat. I had a Golden State Warriors sweatshirt, some jeans. I definitely was standing out like a sore thumb. But the thing about it, Dad, I was hanging out with Rosie Perez a lot. I'm 14, 15, but she took a liking to me. And so all between the shoots and, whenever we had downtime, I was over there chilling with Rosie, dog, in the shade. In the shade, okay? Okay. I think the funniest thing about that part, of that movie for me. And it's a very like it went under the radar. The line is when you go in with Ronaldo Ray, the actor playing the guy that owned the store, right? You go in and he asks you when you put on the mask, he asks you, "Hey Raymond, is that you?" And you say, "No, this ain't me. No, this ain't me." Right? Is that what you said?
Right.
Is that what did you like? What was up with that? Because that to me that was a unsung hilarious part of the movie. Was it the writing or was that something you threw in there?
Well, when you come into the NBA, and I came in 1977, and may have heard the story prior to that, but one of the first stories you hear is about this Detroit schoolboy legend who went from high school to the pros. He played with the Globetrotters, played in the Midwest Basketball League with the Toledo Tardens, played some with some teams like that, but never played college basketball. He was recruited by, his name was Reggie Harden. He was recruited by Tennessee A&I, Agricultural and Industrial. It's now Tennessee State. But Harold Hunter was the coach at Tennessee A&I. And Harold Hunter was, he's on that list with Chuck Cooper and Sweetwater Clifton and those guys in terms of being able to sign an NBA contract back in the early 50s. So, So the reason I know this because I wrote a screenplay on Reggie Harding. His life is fascinating. He got caught up in drugs and heroin as an athlete and as a basketball player. But he's the guy at 7 feet tall, Chris, 3-time All-City in Detroit, 3-time city champion Detroit, turned it out back in the 1960, 61, 62. But he is the guy, Chris, that went into the neighborhood bodega liquor store where he grew up in Detroit with a mask on. And
7 feet. 7 feet.
7 feet. And the guy behind, and he had robbed the store about 3 or 4 times prior to that. So the dude behind the counter is like, "Come on, Reggie, goddamn, man, it's the 3rd time this week, man. I know that's you." And Reggie allegedly said, "This ain't me. This ain't me. This ain't me." What the story is based on, but this turned out to be a real tragic story. Reggie Harding wound up going to prison. Some other things got suspended from the league for hanging out and doing some other things and slapping cops. And he was off the chain. And didn't have the kind of supervision and mentorship. He had it. I mean, there were some people back there that were trying to help him, but he wasn't listening.
Right.
And he wound up getting shot and killed at 30 years old on a street corner in Detroit shortly after getting to prison. So, so the character was based on, but we all know guys like that. Everybody that grew up in the hood or close to the hood or on a basketball court knows that guy who was talented, but just for some reason or another, just couldn't connect the dots and stay on, I won't even say the straight and narrow, but just stay on enough of a path to help him get to some place and stay someplace successful.
Yeah, one of my good high school teammates, a good friend, Ronnie Arch. You remember Ronnie, Dad, was very talented, ended up getting gunned down, senselessly in LA, but he had all the talent in the world and sounds a lot like Reggie Harding. Moving on to another part in a movie that you played, a pretty legendary film, for basketball folks, the movie Blue Chips. You played Coach Mel. Talk about that experience with Blue Chips and, just the character study behind Mel. Obviously you would think it would be easy to kind of flip into that role, but you gave that character some depth as I watch it over and over. You had this whole little thing about Mel, dog. Will you please break it down for me?
I could drink a couple of beers, eat some hot wings.
Yeah, that's
Charles O'Bannon used to love that line. Come on, Jimmy. Well, the thing about that is that White Man Can't Jump, I was just doing a caricature of a playground street tough. I had a good idea of where I was going with it. I started studying seriously with an acting coach by the name of Rick Edelstein. And Rick helped develop, Hill Harper was brand new to acting when he first came to class, and kind of stumbling around. Rick helped him with direction. Vanessa Williams, who was in New Jack City and Soul Food, she was a student also in that class. Pat Morita, the Karate Kid guy, Anna Marie Horsford, Antonio Vargas, Huggy Boy.
Bill Bellamy, Sally Richardson.
There you go. Barbara Streisand. If you look at Barbara Streisand's movies, she's always given a special shout out to because she'll bring him in he taught her when she was 16, 17, but she would bring him in today to be the eyes and look and see how the film or performance is going. But anyway, I studied with Rick. And Rick studied with Lee Strasberg back at the Actors Studio in New York back in the late 60s. Shelley Winters, Robert Duvall, Dustin Hoffman, they were in his. So he knew this whole technique of teaching acting in Los Angeles, where back in the Actors Studio in New York, they would want you to stay in class 5 years before you audition. Here, that wasn't feasible. So he trained his actors to go out and get the job right away. Wow. But anyway, my point is that with Blue Chips, I was able to, with Rick's help and Rick's development as an acting coach and sense memory exercises, all the stuff we did to really develop a strong character for that coach. And I say all that to say, and you do the character, you do the film. It's not a big part. Nick Nolte and all the Shaq and Penny and all the stars of the movie. Yeah. But I ran into Samuel L. Jackson at something like a Lowe's furniture place or somewhere. I'll never forget. He had a crutch and I think a cast or something. But he saw me, recognized me. He's like, Marcus, what's up, man? I said, hey, Sam, how you doing? He said, good. Man, you did some great work in Blue Chips. I was like, really? He's like, man, I'm telling you, man, you had a whole life, inner life, whole character, brother. I'm telling you, I said, if I ever saw you, I was going to tell you how impressed I was with the work.
Wow.
A validation from somebody. I think he's like, he's made more money in film. His films made more money than any actor in history. And he's just a great, he's just a great professional, just a consummate pro and actor that to have that kind of compliment come from
absolutely.
Was a testament to the work I put in, So
absolutely.
And that was fun. We had a great time in that movie too.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't realize you were a theater arts major at UCLA. So you had been doing this for a while, academic All-American. You were, on start, and then even back before in junior high. We're not going to go to junior high and all that. I'm just going to let them know that you've been doing this for a while. I don't know if it was prior to the Yankees, damn Yankees.
I was Conrad Birdie and Bye Bye Birdie.
Excuse me, sorry.
Dance. I was Little Abner. Damn Yankees. So this is all from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. This is all through school. So it's always the point is it's always been a passion.
And to my point, it shouldn't. It's not an accident that you received how many Emmys for your broadcasting in the last 5 years?
My fourth,
Fourth. So you have been recognized with 4 Emmy Awards as the top color basketball analyst in the Midwest region. Is that what it is?
That and then there's a couple of them for what we did as a collective, but all of them are based on. They weren't winning Emmys before I got.
Well.
That way.
That's something we don't ever really talk about. Like, we don't give you that love. I'm going to give you your flowers right here on the show. Like, I'm giving you love. You're an Emmy Award-winning broadcaster. So my question is this. What made you want to get into broadcasting? I mean, it seems like the obvious, right, switch over when you get done playing, right? But what made you want to, just kind of attack it the way you have and eventually get good enough to start winning Emmys and stuff like that?
Well, I got this obsessive personality, which is an addictive type personality. It's a perfection type thing, And so if I went 12 for 15 in a game, it wasn't the 12 shots I made that I focused on. It was like, damn, I missed those 3. I missed that open jump. Layup rimmed in and out, and I will fiend over the missed 3 and not give myself credit for the made 12 out of 15.
Yeah.
Just that perfectionist type of a bent that I just been born with.
Yeah.
And so with broadcasting, I like to point this out too, Chris. I grew up in Los Angeles in the 60s. So with the Dodgers, I'm listening to Vin Scully. With the Lakers, I'm listening to Chick Hearn.
Mm-hmm.
UCLA, I'm listening to Dick Enberg. And when Dick Enberg was national, he was replaced by this guy by the name of Al Michaels.
Oh my God.
So these are and I'm picking Dick Enberg's brain. I'm talking to Al Michaels on road trips about broadcasting and what it takes to be. It's always preparation. I played for John Wooden. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. All we talked about all we did was preparation. And so when it came to broadcasting, and once I got the opportunity, and I give a lot of credit, kudos to Roy Hamilton, my former teammate at UCLA. He was an executive at Fox, and kind of working his way up the ladder in the early years back in the 1980s. Started me out doing some local summer league, the Southern California Summer League, some high school basketball, Sports Channel LA. And Roy plugged me in. Then he got got the position at Fox where he was head of hiring. He told me as long as he has a job, I'll have a job. And so he took me under his wing. And Roy told me something. It taught me a lot. But basically, like, don't tell them what they just saw. You got to explain in terms of replay. Just really valuable insight from Roy Hamilton. So But the main thing is that, man, look, you and I, we're basketball heads. We love basketball. I can watch basketball all day, every day. I can read articles all day, every day, which I do. I just plugged on to Ben Falk's new website, Cleaning the Glass, that has these great stats that Synergy doesn't have, that other sites don't have, NBA.com, they don't have. And so I just immerse. I go down a rabbit hole. You know how we do it. Go down that rabbit hole real easy when it comes to basketball. And my thing too, Chris, let me put the period on it with this. I see myself as this basketball griot. Now, griot, G-R-I-O-T, that a West African term means storyteller who keeps the legends of the history of the tribe alive. They don't write things down. They don't have the books, and they don't record it that way. They record it by word of mouth. And so my thing is to try and be this basketball griot, where I can always give some insightful, colorful background information on players that you're not going to hear anyplace else. And that takes a lot of research, but I think it's valuable because it gives you an idea of where guys come from and the kind of effort and hardship they've had to deal with, and emotionally where they are at that point. So to me, that's valuable in terms of the complete understanding of the content that's going on TV, the backstory of what these players and what they're all about.
If you can give one piece of advice to, established professionals that are looking to achieve the heights of an Emmy, or even beginners, people that are just starting out and trying to break into the industry, if you can give one piece of advice to them, what would it be?
Number one is be yourself. Don't try and emulate somebody else. And I struggle with that. That's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're breaking. And my good buddy Gavin Smith, the late
rest in peace.
Used to always tell me, you sound like you had your voice, your broadcaster voice going last night. The Bruins are trying to take them, Hey, man, be yourself. And I was able to do that really for the first time consistently when I worked with the Sonics with Kevin Calabro. And we were the same age, same frame of reference with our humor and music and everything else. And so I was able to just really relax and be myself. And as you know, as a broadcaster, I mean, there's a level of autonomy and freedom with that. Now, of course, you've got to do it within restraints and the structure of what you're doing and all that. You just can't go be a fool or whatever, but you can have fun. That's the next thing. Have fun, have a good time. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, you're in the wrong business. And then the most important thing, as I talked about, Coach Wooden, Willie West, Jeff Johnson, my dad, all the coaches I played for in my life, it was all about preparation, preparing yourself to the fullest extent that you could, over-prepare. Make sure you're ready for any and all types of situations. And a lot of the stuff, 80% of it, I'll never use, but I've got it kind of plugged in, and it's there if I need to call upon it. So that would be the advice.
That's funny. I mean, that's not funny, but that's sage advice. That's really valuable stuff to pass along. When I started out, because my thing was this, like when I started out doing the broadcasting, I really didn't love it per se. I just kind of did it because I had an opportunity to do it. Right. I didn't necessarily view it as a career. So being myself and all that, like I just tried to basically emulate what I heard from you. I had no real formal training. So I just tried to emulate what I heard from you. So if I was doing broadcaster voices, because of you. So Joe, I'm blaming Dad for that. Joe talked about both of y'all broadcaster voices annoy me. Yeah, I'm gonna blame my dad for that. No, but segueing to more basketball talk. I mean, you're currently, obviously we touched earlier, the Bucks announcer. Talk a little bit about Giannis and his chances for another MVP this year.
Well, I've been on this thing, man, for a long time, and it started for me back in the late 90s when Karl Malone won that first MVP award, and it was collusion amongst the media to not give Michael Jordan the MVP because he'd won it too much. And that was it. He's won the award enough. We feel like somebody else should win it, and so we're going to give it to Malone this year.
That's weak.
It's real weak. And it just so then you fast forward to the finals, and Michael comes with the double back steal against Karl Malone down in the post.
Right.
The push off on B. Russ for the the game with all that,
Mm-hmm.
and so it just always made me feel like the most valuable player. Now, if you want to give a guy an award, a regular season award, and let me preface this by saying everything Giannis has done the last 2 years makes him more than deserving to be the MVP. So that's not even an issue. Based
No
on
question.
the criteria, Giannis, hands down, MVP. What I'm saying, and what I've said since the 90s is that, and remember, back in the 90s, it was hand tabulated ballot. So you'd have to fill out the ballot. You have to put it in an envelope, give it to your media relations guy. He'd have to mail it to the NBA office. So it may take 2 weeks, 10 days, a week, 7 years, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now everything's computerized. So you
Right.
can get instantaneous results. In 5-10 minutes after the finals are over, my thing is this: wait until after the NBA finals to give out the MVP. Now, people will say, well, they got a finals MVP. The last time one guy won both the finals MVP and the regular season MVP, do you know when that was?
No, Tim. No, I don't know what. Who?
Yeah, 8 years ago. It was LeBron.
Oh, LeBron. I should have guessed LeBron.
8 years ago. But it's been a different winner every year between the finals MVP, regular season MVP. My point is this: is that how you play in the finals is not going to necessarily mean you're going to. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double. He's MVP. James Harden averages 35 and 14 assists or whatever it was. You're MVP. Giannis breaks the record for player efficiency rating last year, the all-time record. You're MVP.
Yeah, I hear you.
What happens in the finals. Now you can, and my other point is this. You're saying most valuable player, but you're not going to count the most valuable part of the season. We always talk about the playoffs are the real season.
Yeah.
The playoffs is winning time. This is when people earn their money in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But when you're voting on who's most valuable, well, no, we're not going to consider the playoffs. We're going to stop it at the regular season. So that just never made sense to me. So
good point, MJ.
Huh?
I say good point.
Well, it just never made sense. The most valuable. Now, if you want to say most outstanding player or give a guy the player efficiency award, like Jokic right now. Jokic has got his player efficiency rating is 31.3 or 4. He's number one.
Sheesh.
Embiid is number 2. Yeah. So if you want to give Jokic the award for most outstanding player, if Trae Young averages 35 a game one season and 15 assists, but they don't make the playoffs, he could be your MVP on a season like that. Based on numbers like that.
Yeah.
You have to count the finals. Or I would like to see, let me put it like that. You don't have to, obviously, but I would like to see the award given at the end where the voters can evaluate the total body of work that a player puts in before saying he's most valuable player. Dirk Nowitzki wins the MVP, loses to an 8th seed. Are you really the MVP if you lose to an 8th seed and Baron Davis and the Golden State Warriors? Not my vote. I don't think so.
That's a great point.
But are you really the most valuable player in the league?
Yeah, I hear you.
Dirk comes back a couple of years later and wins the Finals MVP in 2011 and shows who Dirk is. Not to knock Dirk, he's a great player. I love Dirk. But
I hear you.
Yeah, so.
No, I hear you, MJ, and you're very passionate about it, and I love it. I love it, man, because it sort of makes sense. Now, staying on that line of postseason awards and things like that, like Rookie of the Year this year, who you got?
Well, come on, man.
No, who you got?
You
don't come on, man. Me. Who you got?
I got who you got. The savant.
I got Anthony Edwards.
Oh, do you?
No, I got Melo. I got LaMelo.
I even said that. I looked at his numbers the other day. And he's good, and he's gonna be good. He's not, but he's as soon as he starts to knock down that shot and gets a little bit more seasoned. But no, I mean, LaMelo, man. It's funny how and you had that close up personal encounter with him coaching in LeVar's league, and I've had it because I worked. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was working with a guy by the name of Provat Gupta. His mother was on the Jeffersons. She played the wife on the Jeffersons.
Yep. And
so Pro was doing a series, and this is when Lonzo was 15 and Jello was 14 and LaMelo was 12. So doing a series on the best trainers in LA, and LeVar, they brought him in, a bunch of other great individual workout guys. and I was kind of hosting the show. So I was with the boys back at that point. So I've been following them since that time. And you were coaching your son, my grandson Will, and AAU. When these guys would play, they're playing 17U, LaMelo's 12, Jello's 14, Lonzo's 15, and they're playing 4-on-4 with LaMelo spotted up at the 3-point line.
Cherry picking.
They kick it up, and it's just the craziest basketball you ever seen. But that section of the venue, if it's Orange County and it's the big spot down there, it's packed. There's 300 people watching this crazy way of playing. So my point is that LeVar was way ahead of his time in terms of player development, and now you're seeing the manifestation of that vision of his. You say what you want about this dude, bloviating, braggart, whatever you want, asshole. You call it whatever you want, but this dude is a visionary.
Absolutely.
And so start with LaMelo all through that point in time, 12 up through high school, and then you saw it firsthand even after that. But to me, it's not a surprise that he's doing the things he's doing because we've been watching him do it all his life.
Well, it's all about, the competition that you play against. Something that you did for me at an early age was you went at my head in the front yard, and then you took me to all your little runs and your little men's league and athletes in action and all these little Tuesday night men's stuff where we'd be at Uni or Dorsey, and I get on the court. But I felt like playing against them older, stronger, faster cats, wiser mentally, that really just helped me make up for a lot of physical stuff I didn't have. So now I learned the game. I became smart on the game.
Well, let me throw this in, please. And you know what I'm going to say. But if at 13, 14, I took you up to the Hollywood YMCA on a noontime run, and you were matched up against Denzel Washington, who played at Fordham University and Mount Vernon High School with Gus Williams and Ray Williams and Earl Tatum, that crew. And you were like so physical with Denzel.
Hey, I'm not playing, man.
He wanted to y'all got into it. He squared up. I'm going to teach this young boy a lesson, Marcus.
He's not.
Better tell him something.
He wasn't. No, he wasn't.
I said you wouldn't back it down. But when I see him nowadays, I said, remember the time he's about to beat up my little 13, 14-year-old son?
So,
he just laughs, man.
So listen. But the quick Denzel story, he brought that up. Listen to this. So it's Game 7 that year that the Lakers beat Portland. Remember the one, the lob Shaq to Kobe. So basically, but the Lakers, they cheated. The refs cheated Portland. It was the most unbelievable, egregious officiating in the last minute. I know my Laker fans aren't going to like to hear that, but that was the reality. The Lakers got cheated. Portland got cheated. But I went to the game with Steve Lavin, right? And so Lav and his boy, right? So we get to the game, we go to will call, and there's 2 tickets. There's only one courtside seat, but there's 2 tickets kind of, in a nice little, I don't know the section, but it's right behind the, broadcasters or whatever. It's close to the court. So Lav wanted to sit with his boy. So Lav's like, Stoney, go ahead and take courtside. So I'm like, cool. I'm there like a wife beater, shorts, no socks, with the Adidas, chilling, right? I get to courtside. Guess who I'm sitting next to? Denzel, his wife, Selma Hayek, and Edward Norton, and then Chris right in the middle.
Right.
Denzel showing major love, telling his wife about the story, introducing me to Salma and Ed Norton. We if you watch the video, you can see me celebrating with them, and when we turned up, it was one of the most amazing moments of my life, and I don't think I've ever really shared that with anybody. But that's just something to go on top of that Denzel.
I've never heard that story.
Yeah, no, that was crazy stuff. But back to kind of that deal of LaMelo and playing against older guys, being on the circuit with the JBA. So the people don't understand what the JBA looked like. The JBA basically took a bunch of dudes between the ages of 19 and 23 who had college experience, who some had high level experience, and we went on sort of this barnstorming tour around the country. So we had Virginia, Chicago, we in Texas, we in New York, we here, we there. Facebook was televised all the games on Facebook Live, so you can tune in. It was professionally done. The league, we played 48 minutes, and it was all about pushing the ball in a fast pace. And to watch LaMelo during that time in that league is like a 16-year-old, I think at the time he was 16, maybe 17, about to turn 17. I was always blown away by just his, first of all, love for the game. He was in the gym 9-10 hours a day, no problem. bouncy. One of those dudes that grew up in the gym, so you just love the gym. And the other thing too, he was in such great physical condition that like I really never seen him get tired. He played 48 minutes every single game. I think you can kind of see that level out there in the NBA. All those factors of his development kind of coming to fruition his rookie season in Charlotte.
Well, and the thing is that people haven't really seen his ability to shoot the basketball in the range. We've seen him out here in Los Angeles point to a spot near the midcourt and pull up. I mean, what's the story with LaMelo when Cyrus was at Bishop Montgomery, and Doug Mitchell, great coach at Bishop Montgomery, one of the greatest coaches defensively in California history. And so he devised this defense to lock up LaMelo, and they locked him up. So LaMelo is crying, talking to LeVar after the game. He's a 10th grader at that time, I think a sophomore. I think it was a year after Lonzo had left, and it was it, undefeated 36-0. It was that next year, and I went up to LaMelo and he was crying and just in tears, just telling his dad about it wasn't fair. They were triple teaming it, and I went up to him and I said, "Man, look, I'm gonna tell you something, man. You consider this an honor. The fact that this defense was devised towards stopping you, and you think about that, brother. You're 15 years old, and we try to stop you. That's all you need to know about where you're headed as a basketball player. You're gonna be fine, dude. You're gonna look back on this and laugh about it one day. And the point is that he was that good back then that at 15 years old he was the guy. And look, and LiAngelo, I mean, he was dropping 60s, 70s.
Monster.
He reminds me of you in terms of
me too.
Back to the basket, footwork.
But he can knock down the long three. Like me, my senior year at UCLA. He reminds me of me at my senior year at UCLA, just able to go inside out. But that whole thing with the 3 and the 2.
And that 1 year when LeBron was playing at UCLA a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, LaMelo was going into it. I mean, LiAngelo was going into his freshman year before the China incident. Yeah. China incident and all that stuff happened. But Jello led a team of UCLA guys against LeBron, Oladipo. I mean, it was some great play. Paul George might have been on that squad. They beat LeBron and them. LeBron didn't lose out there.
Yeah, that's pride.
And Jello had, if the game was up to 12, Jello had 9 of the
triple B's,
post ups. So my point is that for whatever reason, he would have been a guy that would have been well positioned. Not saying he'd have been in the league by now, but on his way, man. He
absolutely.
When he had UCLA, just on an Adrian Dantley, Chris Johnson, 6'5", 2 post up jumper.
Yeah. Especially in today's league with that mold of guy.
Yeah.
You're Bruce. I see this guy Bruce Brown for the Nets, like 6'4" center. I'm like, Draymond, but Bruce Brown really just, I couldn't believe like how effective he's been playing the 5. Like someone had the confidence to put him out there. You know what I'm saying, MJ? But MJ, staying in the league, and thank you for that insight. Taking us way back with LaMelo. Recently in the news, I don't know if you saw the interview a while back on TNT where Shaq had Donovan Mitchell post game and kind of jammed him up. He, told him he didn't think he was the guy. You don't think you can do it,
Is that your Shaq?
Oh, you're not the guy. You're not the guy.
That's your Shaq, man? Come on.
Yeah, that's I'm not gonna diss Shaq like you probably can't, but no. But Dad, what do you make of the older crowd from like that generation, like the generation before me, sort of hating on today's NBA, not liking the style of play, getting mad about people jacking up threes? Like, what is your position on all of that?
Man, look, and I've had the benefit of working with the Bucks. This is my 5th or 6th year. I forget what year it is. But Chris, I see how hard these guys work. I watch the amount of time they put in. And check this out. And so you got Mike Budenholzer, great coach. Despite what happens in the postseason, this guy knows basketball. So he devises a defense that puts a premium on rim protection. You sell out 5 guys protecting the rim. They kick it to the 3-point shooter. You go out and challenge the 3-point shooter, make him knock down a contested 3. So what do teams do to solve this defense of Mike Budenholzer? They started figuring out that if I can incorporate a pull-up 3, a step-back 3, through the leg,
A
step
quick.
back, step side, step three to my game, I can effectively make this defense not as potent as before. So now that's the problem with our defense in Milwaukee. It's the same defense we've been playing the last 2 years. That was number 1 in the league defensive rating. But now,
People just adjusted.
but guys have adjusted. The offense is caught up, and
NBA. That's what happens. The league.
yeah. So you give up a brick line 3-pointer contested. That's bottom. I watched a Jordan Clarkson sidestep Giannis on a through the leg crossover, step, separate, bam, deep.
Hey, you got Bucks Nation, you got Fear the Deer Nation, in the comments. Just talk. I mean, that when you came out and tweeted about the job, I remember some blog and Marques Johnson had mentioned you, like in the mix or something. They thought you'd make a good Bucks coach or whatever. And you came out and was like, "Yo, man, what are you guys talking about?" Like, but just address that for us.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to address. I mean, I'm flattered. And look, I'm 65. If I was 45 and the NBA coaching would be attractive, I'm not going to sit here and slam myself and say I couldn't do something like that. But there's no desire on my part right now to even think about doing something. Number one. Number two, Mike Budenholzer, Darvin Ham, Patrick St. Andrews, Ben Sullivan. I'm going down this list. Mike Dunlap. We got Dunlap on the staff.
Dunlap's there?
Dunlap's on our staff, dude.
I love Dunlap, dog.
If these cats can't figure it out, it cannot be figured out.
Wow.
And you combine that with the fact that Drew Holiday was down with the COVID for 2 weeks or whatever it was during the course of that 5-game losing streak. And I even say this, Chris, I like the fact that we're going through some adversity. Giannis talked about it. It's like, you come out of this 5-game losing streak, the one thing you know is that you don't want to go back there. You want to do whatever it takes. And you see how he has played since that 5-game losing streak. I think he's averaging 36 and 15, 16, whatever it is. So the combination of no Drew Holiday, his organizational skills as a point guard, his ability to get in the lane, to score, to take some of the pressure off of Chris and Giannis at key times in the game. I'll never forget that jumper he hit against the Celtics. I think it was Daniel Tice, kind of a step back three late in that game that showed me where his heart was. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And Mike Budenholzer and this staff, I've been around them. I know what they do in terms of bonding with the team and getting to know guys and guys getting to know them, and how much effort and work they put into making this thing work. And the fact that we dominated the regular season, faltered in the playoffs, even though the bubble was different last year. We weren't a bubble tough team, especially after the boycott of Game 5 against the Magic. The spotlight of the world was on us, and we're not Chicago, we're not LA, we're not New York. We're Milwaukee. That spotlight glare was a little bit too intense.
Dad, talk about that. Just refresh people's memory about what happened with that situation.
Well, that's when that was the height of the social injustice. Jacob Blake had just taken 7 hot ones in the back. I think as his father put it. You see it on video. I was late getting to my apartment that night, or taking a nap or something, but it was late at night, and somebody tweeted me to take a look at the video and just take a look at it. And so I looked at it, and yeah, we can go over all what law enforcement says that but okay, I'm not even here to debate that. But just watching this young man take 7 shots to the back like that was disturbing, to say the least. And so the fact that the Bucks, it was right in their own backyard in Kenosha, an hour away, whatever it is, the Bucks, I thought, made a courageous stance by not playing that game, just to even bring more attention to what they felt was some injustices by the police in that situation. So, and so it was funny. We were sitting there waiting, and my producer, Dan Keener, came on in our ear and said, Orlando's on the court, but the Bucks aren't out there. It's 3 minutes before tip-off. And I told Jim Paschke, my partner, I was like, they're not coming out. He's like, well, maybe they'll delay. I said, no, they're not playing, man. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? That was the opportune time to take a stance like that. And to the Magic's credit, they didn't accept the forfeit. To the soccer leagues, baseball, I forget everybody else who kind of followed suit and did not play games that day or around that time. I thought it was inspirational. I thought it was motivational. I thought it was courageous by the Bucks, and I was proud to be associated with those players based on the fact that they had the nerve and the gall and whatever it took to take a stance like that, because it's gonna be some major blowback.
Well, you come from a generation, I come from a generation where that type of stuff, that type of stand is like unfathomable. You know, you just will never, I would have never thought to do it. I don't know about you because you did have some trailblazing kind of situations going on in your generation, but I know my generation, nobody, you know, nobody was really trying to make that type of public statement as far as a boycotting of a game. Like to do that in the NBA and the Bucks being the first team to do it. I mean, that really spoke a lot. I mean, that takes guts, man. And I don't think we need. I think we don't just need to sweep that under the rug. All them players really, you know, they took a real chance
Yeah,
in doing that. You know what I mean?
they did. And what was interesting was the reverberations that came from that. I think it was LeBron or Barkley, somebody. I mean, guys, the powers that be were ticked off because they didn't get any
Word on it. Like, yo, y'all boycott didn't tell me.
Yeah, yeah. See, but that's to let you know that it was a spur of the moment. George Hill, from what I understand, George Hill said, "Look, I just can't, in good consciousness, go out here and play." And so Coach Bud was like, "George, you feel that way? Then don't play." Jordan Brown said, "I feel like George feels. I just don't feel in good consciousness. I can go out here with everything going on, everything going on with this just happening, shoot this young man in front of his kids, knife, no knife, whatever it is. But that situation, the shocking nature of that video, and then the other players kind of followed suit and said, okay, well, we're a team, and if Sterling and George feel this way, hey, let's all boycott this game."
Wow. And do you feel like the NBA or the NBA players, do you feel like that they need to do more in terms of bringing awareness to this social injustices, or are they doing enough bringing at the current moment?
They did their part, man. I mean, I'm not even talking about who's the soccer player that got on LeBron.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Zlatan.
and
No, Zlatan's the man, but
but pointed
he's
out that,
whack for that. He's whack for that.
but LeBron pointed out that he had made some comments about
Yeah.
racist stuff because of his name. He might, you know what I mean, that he gets a lot of blowback.
In Sweden, the Serbian. So he's like a Serbian Swedish dude or whatever. So it's like a thing. Gypsy. They call them gypsies and stuff. And weirdo.
But my point is that based on what these got, the action that not only the Bucks but other teams, the league, Adam Silver, I just love him to death, Chris. I mean, the swiftness that he came in on that Donald Sterling situation, and just we'll take the franchise. Thank you very much. We no more of this. And I often joke, and I hope people will appreciate it.
Oh wait, don't make the joke.
Well,
if you have to say that, dude, I know it's going to be some.
No. But I often joke that Donald Sterling, his history, he sent me through the ringer, sent Elton Baylor through the ringer, sent Baron Davis through the ringer. Baron Davis almost had a nervous breakdown with Donald Sterling sitting at midcourt,
calling him fat.
Every day, you're fat, you ain't crap, you're this, But it took saying something negative about Magic. You don't talk about Magic.
You cannot talk about Magic, dog.
You start talking about Magic. The whole city of LA was like, you got to go.
Hey, especially now. You talk about Magic like that?
About Magic.
Oh, no.
But I appreciate it. And again, we're just joking with that, but kind of. But at the same time, the swiftness and decisiveness of which Adam Silver came along and took action in that situation. And the league is doing things now. I mean, it started with the voting and making arenas available. The Fiserv Forum, other venues around the country brought in thousands of people to be able to vote and have the kind of spacing and all that good stuff that you needed in the time of COVID. So my point is that the players made their stand.
Sure.
Now it's time for the follow-up and the people who have the resources and the connections to follow up and make things happen, knowing that the players are looming in the background, watching, seeing how things are going to go. If we got to make another stance, we'll do so. But right now, it's kind of out of the players' hands and into the hands of the powers that be.
Do you think that, and this will be the last question on this, though, do you think that the powers that be need to change up the look of front office, or do owners need to hire more people of color in front office positions? Do staffs need to have more people of color on that second row, as Earl Watson, when he came on the show, alluded to? Just quick thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, I watched that. That was a riveting interview with you and Earl Watson. Earl's point about that second row of coaches being the coaches of the future. And so, yeah, that's important. Front office positions in terms of minority hiring. When you've got a league as predominantly black as the NBA has been for a long, long time, and I got to point this out too, because I'm not saying this by design, but I remember when there was expansion in terms of bringing the game overseas to Eastern Europe and all these other places. I knew coach Don Nelson, other people would spend a lot of time, Hubie Brown, doing clinics over in Eastern Europe, and now you're reaping the benefits because you've got this league that looks a lot more integrated, but it's not American white guys that are the beneficiaries. It's the Luka Doncic.
Euros.
It's it's Porzingis, which is fine. I'm not knocking.
No, it's fine.
But it's like baseball with the lack of black Americans. All of a sudden they go to the Dominican Republic
because they look brown. They may look like a black person.
A lot of black players in Major League Baseball, but it's not.
Hell no. Hell no.
It's an interesting it's an interesting conversation. But the point is, to your point, yes, this coach was hired by Minnesota, and a lot of people, Vanderpool,
Chris Finch.
So David Vanderpool was passed over as the associate head coach, and there was some understandable concern about David Vanderpool being passed over. But the bottom line is that Gerson Rosas, the general manager, had worked with Finch
in Houston.
And in the Rio Grande Valley or wherever.
Vipers. So they got a history. They
were making history, 3-point shooting, Covington, these cats, they had history. And so my point is that it's not always about race. Oftentimes it's about relationship. And the time that you can get relationship is by putting I'm talking about me in terms of a black person, just in that element so I can establish that relationship. So when time comes to hire, you give me serious consideration.
Yeah,
absolutely. About that.
No, they got hyped on that. No, totally, man. And you make some really good points about stuff. Just having open mind about things. Sometimes it's the bond. It's if it's your homie. If you guys have been down in the D League together and you guys kind of made your way up, that's a different circumstance. I think even I jumped the gun a little bit, just kind of assuming something is what it is. I think we got to look at every single situation and kind of dissect it on its own. You know what I'm saying? But man, I appreciate you coming on, man. How you feel?
I'm good, man.
I need some of that that Sturmagen, man. You said you was gonna send me some, bro.
Yeah, I got you. That's all.
I'm trying to start jogging again, man. I'm trying to start getting back out there, man. And okay. I need to rejuvenate my damn leg, bro.
I got your stem cell regeneration, brother. I got your stem cell regeneration, my man. Yeah, I got it right here.
Well, Dad, listen.
Let me get this. Let me show the product placement.
Show the product.
Yeah, check it out, y'all.
Man, can I get my stem on? Can I stem the tide, bro? Can I stem the tide?
Stem the tide, man. Definitely. We all.
Now, but Dad, just in closing, thank you for coming on, man. You're obviously, you've been an inspiration to all of us since day one, and to watch you grow into the person you're into today. And achieve all the levels of success that you're achieving, both professionally, personally, it just makes me feel good. It makes me want to just keep on being better and better and better, man. And I love you. You're always going to be my favorite MJ. And thank you for coming on, my man.
I appreciate that, man. Love you too, brother. Anytime.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
What you doing? You're great at this. You're better than 99% of them out there.
Whatever. Thank you.
Great at this.
I appreciate you.
We need a podcast. Me, you, and Joe.
Let's do it.
Big Johnson's podcast. Got stories, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, MJ. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bro. Love you.
Love you.